Sick of everything. We're locked down.
Give us a shot to do what?
Give them a shot to do what?
You know whose fault it is that Pete Alonso's not getting all the credit he deserves.
Whose fault is that?
Liberal media.
And we all know. And we all know it.
Well, we're live, folks, so that just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Join our happy hour, man.
And you're sure I'm not too dark without the other half? This is the dark side.
This is the dark side. Steve Waldman, what's up, man? Get your ass in here, buddy. Got some things to talk about. You ain't got nothing going on tonight.
Oh man.
This is a laid back show. This is the people show.
Oh, he's asking
I think I'm here to talk some Mets baseball. I don't know about you, Mike. How about you?
No, I'm here to talk all things Mets. Nothing about the other team. It feels good. It's a weird Thursday. I don't have anybody combating me and going,
not really, Corey.
So it's bizarre. It's like having the night off. I mean, honestly, although ironically, my partner has the night off.
Right. Yeah. But this is what ballers do. Okay, we work. We don't have nights off.
Yeah, exactly. People are asking me how to get into our little happy hour, so I'm.
Listen, just send them the link. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't prep this properly. Just send them the link, Mike, and we're just gonna do the damn thing.
Look at you, man! Double hat, double fisting,
double fisting. I'm trying to merch myself out.
So, for those who don't know, this is the Give Us a Shot Network. I'm Mike. This is Facebook one. Germ. I guess he's on. I'm not used to it. Yeah. And look, we're going to talk all things Mets. Hopefully we'll have some. Every time we ever done a happy hour, somebody ends up showing up that changes the game. So
yeah,
we have a few invites out there. We got some guys that are currently working that look good in black jerseys. No phone call. No. I just sent you the link to join. Click on that link. You could option to not have your video shown.
Yeah. You could be audio only, boss, if you want.
Right. Sorry, I sent you the wrong. The second link I sent you, the StreamYard one, use that.
Yes, sir.
So, that's right now. That's the only way we could do it, because then my partner won't be able to hear you if you just call into the studio. So that will not. He'll be able to hear you. You wouldn't be able to hear him. So the Mets are 3.5 games in first. The Yankees, I never thought I'd be happy to see a Yankee walk off in my life, and I was last night because it meant that our rival Phillies did not win. We have some fun stuff in stored. If you want to make comments in the section, we're gonna give away some merch to the best comments. We're also going to give away merch to anybody who joins us and entertains us for a little bit. Germ will have that meter going. And once you hit that comment burst that we're like, hey, that was a good comment, this is something that we could use, we're going to send you some merch.
We got somebody joining us right now. Big shout out on Instagram. The legend, the living legend himself. I enjoy all of his content. This is Vintage Mets on Instagram. What's up, boss?
Very good. How y'all doing, man?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Thanks for the invite, man.
Of course, brother.
Man.
I'm a little late. I had to eat something. I didn't want to be on eating spaghetti and meatballs.
Listen, that wouldn't be the worst thing done on one of our happy hours, bro.
Maybe it wouldn't be the worst, but would it be the first?
It'd be the first. You should have did it now. Now I'm kind of upset.
Now that you thought about it, I go reheat some right now.
Will Richardson from the Jags actually ate pizza on a happy hour. So we our happy hours normally have some guest appearances, so we're hoping to have some tonight.
Nice. We're working on it.
Prefer hopefully people that look good in the black jersey. So spoiler alert there. But
it's coming up, man, next week.
Yeah, it's exciting. 8 days away. So Vintage, tell the people out there who you are, what you are. I feel like I know you haven't been doing this for a long time, but it's been an impactful time, and it's so much fun to watch your Mondays, and just watching you when you're at a Met game.
Yo, salute. My name is Carlos, and I go by Vintage Mets on this Instagram. I collect vintage Mets clothing, hats, shirts, jackets, stuff like that. And during the pandemic, I was like inspired by a bunch of other vintage people going on live and just like showing their collection. And I decided just to go and make a vintage page for my collection. You know, I'm also a photographer. I have a photography page, but I decided just to like make a vintage clothing page and just to show my collection. And around Thanksgiving time, I decided to like go live and like talk to fans and just show my collection on live. And people have been on as like guests, like Mets fans, some super dope people, and I'm grateful for everybody, man.
That's dope.
You're underselling, man. Like he's had the 7-line, he's had Doc Gooden. I think you had the Pin Man or the Cowboy.
Yeah, I had a Cowboy Man. I had Patchman Phil, C-Mac says. I've had some like Mets collectors. Of course, Doc Gooden, like you just said, I was super grateful. And salute to you guys. I watched some of it, but I'm gonna watch the rest of it. I'm not. But salute to you guys also, man. That's like a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, you get to talk to Doc. He's just like showing love and coming on your platform is like, wow, he's just giving you some kind of acknowledgement. And as a Met fan, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So let's get into a little Mets talk. We talked about earlier how the Mets clinging on to first place. We have a question here from Steve Waldman that says, "Is Chris Bryant the answer?" I actually have a live look at Mets management clinging to first place, clinging to money, trying to figure out what we're going to do here. So I will toss it to you guys. Is Chris Carlos, you go first. Is Chris Bryant the answer? Would you like to see the Mets make some kind of splash on the trade deadline?
I would love to see a splash, man. I think there's more than one answer, though. This is one of those questions where it ain't just one answer that's gonna, solve everything. We have a couple things to address. So it would be a nice addition. I would love to have Chris Bryant, and it's a long season. You don't know where he could play. He could play in multiple positions. But I think there's more than just one answer to this question. We gotta address starting pitching, especially the uncertainty of DeGrom and his injury status this year, and not knowing what's really going on with his forearm, not knowing what's going on with Cookie or Syndergaard. So I think there's more than just one answer.
Noah Syndergaard's been hurt since 9/11. I'm sick of hearing this guy's name.
Literally.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Mike, what you got?
Look, to piggyback off that answer, I'm just excited that we're not only going to be buyers for a change, we're not going to be bargain buyers. We're going to be guys that have money. Nelson Cruz just went to Tampa Bay, according to Steve Wallman.
Wow.
Good for Tampa Bay. They're trying to get that trifecta of championships, I guess. Tampa Bay has to stop winning. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if it's Tom Brady.
AL East teams are in trouble, man. I like to hear it when Tampa Bay does something good. I says no Yankee fans, and I agree with that. I'm an official Yankee hater.
Yeah. Marion, what's up?
Hey, always on our show.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, yeah. So just I agree. I think we need some starting pitching. I wouldn't hate to see them even get a guy on a flyer like, who knows, like even Harvey, just to get us over that hump before Cookie and Noah get back as far as starting pitching goes. But look, I like the VR. By the way, I did not get VR right until I was watching your show, Vintage, and you were like VR troopers. Bro, that hit home with me. So
I don't know why I gotta tell athletes logos or somebody. You guys should do it. Somebody who does logos and Photoshop VR in a VR trooper outfit. That would be sick. Like have his own his fan group called the VR Troopers.
Yeah. I'm gonna put. I'll do it, man. Hey, listen. Ain't no such thing. That might take off, man. I'll give you 10%. Ain't nothing.
Nah, no problem. It'll be a dope idea. Yeah. Just like
Actually, I wanted to ask you before because I didn't want to ignore Steve Waldman's Chris Bryant question. So going back to what you do and how you got started in terms of collecting vintage Mets memorabilia, what was the one thing that you came across that you have that if you do have it still that you're not showing the world because it was just so rare, like it's something that really special to you, that vintage piece that is at the centerpiece of your mantle? Do you have something like that? And also, is there something that you're chasing that you can't get your hands on yet?
So yeah, that's more or less what it is. I have a lot of stuff and just like a crazy collection of hats sitting right behind this camera. But it's like sort of like a chase. Like there's one hat that I want that is just like an insane price. And I really would like that hat. That hat like really made me say, yo, I want to collect even doper stuff. And then just gradually finding people in the vintage community in Malaysia and Philippines, the Netherlands, Australia, London, everywhere, dude. There's people who really collect this stuff. Like this hat right here is
that's sick.
Bugs Bunny.
That's got to be like 98. Like what year? You know,
1993.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's earlier than that, boy.
93. And then I have the Bugs Bunny shirt on.
That's crazy.
Dated Warner Brothers 1993, MLB 1993.
So there's got to be a lot of hours like scouring Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, all these like places.
Yeah.
So who's the craziest person you've like you've seen something on their page that maybe they weren't selling that, or maybe some Mets memorabilia that you just happen to see them wear or have, and have you like reached out to them like, yo, I need that? You know, how much would it cost to get that from you?
So yeah, there's this one hat. It's called. He wants $1,000 for it.
Oh, damn.
$1,000.
Where's he located, man?
He's a Boston fan. Like he's a Patriot fan, a Red Sox fan. But a lot of people collect hats. Not just me. I have one little niche of vintage, my Met stuff. But there's people who collect all kind of teams. There's people who collect every team made of this kind of hat. Or I don't have the Mercury Mets hat, honestly, but I could show you guys something if you like. I got a bunch of hats.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Man,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I also have the matching blue one to this. I at some point I'll show it if I get to it. This one right here is super dope. Has the drawstring on the back.
Wow. So
like there's no snap or anything. It's like just a drawstring. You look like you got a ponytail on.
Yeah.
These are really kind of rare. There's collectors that just collect this kind of style, which is called an MLB side logo. Obviously. And it's made by like the most sought after company, Sports Specialties. So these are super cool and sought after. These run for like, depending on the team. This one right here, I had 3 at one time, and I sold one for like $150 at one.
Wow.
But there's teams that are way more expensive because they're rarer. It's more like a rarity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Shea Stadium, MLB Dome, starter.
Oh yeah. I know that logo. I had a couple starter jackets. I had a Green Bay Packers starter jacket when I was a kid, boy, and I wore that thing out.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of jackets, I talked to you about this once before, but the first time I really got the whole vintage experience was on your Instagram. You had this jacket, a white jacket, with pictures in front of Citi Field with the stripe down.
Oh,
and my dad was a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. He worked for the company, but he knew I was a Met fan, so he had Met gear, and he wore that jacket to all my little league games, to all my high school and anything, any baseball game I ever been to. He's in that. He passed away, and then I see you wearing the jacket, and just like instantly connected me to what you're doing, because that's what you're doing. You're reminding people of our past. And 93, there wasn't a lot of stuff around the Mets, but yeah, I had to call in Bugs Bunny like to sell some merch.
Shout out to your dad, man. I believe you messaged me about that jacket, man, and I was like, that was heartwarming too. Like, damn, that's dope. Somebody see this and it just gives them a nostalgic memory of someone they love. You know what I'm saying? That's super dope.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing it. And thanks for like having this. You're pretty much a Mets historian, and I think that's why Darren was so intrigued, and he was on your show. And
shout out to Darren.
Yeah, and just everybody who's embraced vintage as a show, and also as it's just a cool thing. And it was really cool watching you and him like share Mets moments, essentially. Like, hey, look at this, I have this, I have that. And it was it's really cool to tune in every Monday and just experience that. So no, of course, man. So my question to you, I have like a lot of obscure like Met players that I love. Oh, somebody you're
Giselle has joined us. What's up?
What's going on, Giselle? How you doing?
Hi, welcome to Mets Happy Hour. So I was just gonna ask a question, and I'll kick it to you first. Simple one. An obscure Met that you're a fan of, that other people are like, whoa, that's weird. I'll give you mine, and then you could go from that. I met Alex Ochoa when I was like probably 6 or 7, and it changed my life. And I bought his plaque. Like, my dad's like, it's $75. I'm not buying this. I was like, no, we're buying this. Like, like I was a huge Alex Ochoa fan. So who's your like weird Met that you're just a fan of, that like most people are like, oh, that's strange?
Are you asking me?
Anybody? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I would like a Benny Agbayani jersey.
Yeah.
Just because I like that Benny Agbayani, and it was just really cool trying to pronounce his name when I couldn't at some point.
Oh, for me, it has to be the X-Man, Xavier and 80, man.
Ooh, nice.
I like the X-Man. Only because I just like that. I think that's the best nickname. You got a nickname, and you could be the X-Man. Come on now, got to be him.
I was who's Banda? Banda was pitching the other night. I was trying to give him the Banda. Like
he did great, by the way. He did great.
Oh, he did really do good for what he gave us.
He got out of that jam. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect him to.
Oh,
I think we lost her.
Say it again.
I was very nervous.
No need to be nervous, man. We all Mets fans here. We chilling.
Matter of fact, hold on. I just got a Mets tattoo today. I'm gonna show y'all in a bit.
Oh, that's fire.
Yes.
Fire. I
love that. I love where this is going. This has been a great start to the happy hour.
I was gonna say, anybody who thought about not tuning in, like, should tune in. Yeah. Also, I threw out some feelers out there to past and present guests that we've had on our show, including Lenny Dykstra, who that would be an absolute shit show if he shows up.
Because I missed him. I missed him last time y'all talked to him. I definitely wanted to ask him some questions.
Yeah, so I sent him a text. I don't even know. It's probably a burner account now. Who knows?
So listen, we were talking about Chris Bryant and certain trades, and the conversation got away from us. And I would have said probably before the home run derby, absolutely get us some offense, because the Yankees were 23rd in offense. But since the All-Star break, we're number 6. Now I know it's a small sample size, and ever since, like, if I see Jared Eckhoff pitch another game for the Mets, I'm gonna go crazy, bro. Yeah. Some of these guys that we trot out here.
You're gonna go the Eckhoff.
Yes, I'm
They're
gonna go
kinda
the Eck. Thank you.
done.
Yes, yeah.
I'm tired of
I got
these
you, bro.
experiments.
I got you. Yeah, I'm gonna go the Eck off because this is every time I see him and he starts pitching, I turn the game off. I don't even watch it.
Oh
Yeah.
my!
I'm sick of him.
He's gone though, right? We DFA'd him.
I think he DF. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
he's gone.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Then we ain't never got to worry about him again. Dude, every time I turn on Mets game, there's a pitcher I've never heard of pitching because one of our starters
Right.
is out.
Right.
And
Stock. Who's my man Stock?
Yeah, but we're sitting here waiting for Noah Syndergaard and his lasting injury. This dude just be. I could have swore he was supposed to be ready in May.
I'm not gonna lie, he made me buy some bone broth off of some now he didn't make me, but I was like, yo, let me just get some bone broth. See, is it working for Noah? He had his shirt off pitching. I was like, yo, it's working for Noah. Let me get some bone broth. Make that shit so quick.
I'm in the
Giselle, do you have Mike had another question we had wrote down that we were going to ask everybody, so I'll go ahead and start with you. Is there a
Sure. Listen, my camera's gonna be turned on real quick. I'm just walking down right now. I just
you're
get
good.
my tattoo. So what's the question?
So we're all Mets fans here, and it's okay to admit that we watch other teams and we like other players on other teams. That's allowed because we're all adults. Is there a favorite player, non-Met player you have that you wish was on the Mets right now?
Oh, Freddie Freeman.
Ooh, okay.
Hands down.
I like his family, so I get where you're going. Like his kid wearing the tatis.
Right. It's not just about his kid though. Like he's very every time he gets on first base, he talks to Pete Alonso. He seems like a really good dude. He knows how good Jacob deGrom is. He always like talks about how good he is and how unhittable deGrom is. He's just a good sportsmanship overall. Definitely him. He's my non-Mets favorite player.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a pretty good one. I would go Mike Trout. I'm not gonna lie. I get it.
Oh my God, Mike. Oh my God.
I would say that if he was on the field more.
Yeah, agreed. But it's also why, as a kid, I wanted Griffey on my team, and he also had injuries. So, like, I always wanted Ken Griffey in a New York Mets uniform. Any video game I had, I would like trade the entire team to get Griffey, and then go 0 for 86. But it was just nuts. But that's my guy right now is Trout. One, because it pisses off Germ, but two, because it's kind of true.
It's funny that Giselle said Freddie Freeman, because the one player that I really enjoy watching because we play the Braves a lot is a Brave. It's not Freddie Freeman, but it's that pitcher Max Fried. I love Max Fried, and because he can hit.
Good too.
He can hit, but he also pitches really well.
Steve. I don't know if I can pitch, so I will gladly during the doubleheader take. And by the way, I can throw lefty and righty, so I would be like a unicorn on the mound. So yeah, you better watch out. I get it; it's a joke saying that I'm going to be called up to pitch one of the doubleheader games on Monday, but challenge accepted. Gary Carter. What does that mean? I don't know.
I think he's answering our question. He would his all-time. Oh wait, Gary Carter played. Yeah, did we talk about past Mets?
Okay, yeah. When we were talking about like obscure Mets that he liked.
Obscure Mets. Yeah,
gotcha.
I remember Gary Carter with the Expos, but that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, yeah, but also like Doc mentioned the first time I ever interviewed him. Ironically, at a boxing match that he refereed. No, it was nuts, man. Lenny was supposed to be there. He didn't show up. Doc shows up because he was supposed to be the special guest referee. Right. I'm the ring announcer. I'm the announcer. Man. Like I'm Jim Ross and Corey was Jerry the King Lawler. Like how I did that, I took the better of the two. Although Jerry the King Lawler is probably the better of the two if you really think about it.
Probably.
Probably, yeah. So I just
Jerry is a legend. They're both legends.
They both are, yeah. But look, so it was a lot of fun, but we're on the red carpet talking to Doc Gooden, and he just kept praising the fact that as a young pitcher, if he didn't have Gary Carter, he wouldn't have thrown as many strikes as he did. He would have thought every pitch, and it was like, and Gary would challenge him, even if so. Say if they were up like 13-0, Gary would be like, "This is what I want you to throw. I'm training you for the future." And
Shit.
it's kind of cool. So there was a lot of, like you said, Doc's a great guy, and I could go on for days about him. You know, my favorite Met of all time is Howard Johnson, and I got Hojo, and I got to interview him. But also was devastated when he got traded to the Rockies. Like that was awful. I don't know. My dad rubbed it in a little bit. He brought home like he worked in Manhattan. He brought home like the news article with him in Rockies uniform.
Oh man!
Like, dude, never wanted to hurt my dad
until that moment.
Yeah, I started doing pull-ups and stuff. I'm gonna get you, Dad.
Slam your door.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't cleaned my room for a week. No, but yeah. So that's my favorite of all time. Vintage. Who's your guy? That's like no matter what, thick and thin
of all time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bold.
Well, what really got me into the Mets is Dwight Gooden and Gary Carter. Like those two, I always wore number 8 when I played. I wasn't a catcher, but I always like fought for like number 8. Those two like really in the building that I grew up in, and the people I grew up with. Those people brought me to Mets games and were like inspired. And was so hyped off of like that 84, 85, 86 kind of run that those people stood out with me. But one thing, do people really hate Bobby Bonilla like that? Because I kind of like Bobby back then.
I loved him. And even
I just feel like they feel like he's just collecting checks.
I know, but I feel like I understand it's a business too, Steve
Like
Waldman.
every Mets fan, I feel like they dread July, Bobby Bonilla Day, and the fact that they're hosting an Airbnb, and Bobby Bonilla is the host of the fucking Airbnb. They're like, what the fuck? This shit is a joke. So I see.
I'm not gonna lie. I went to book it and it was gone like this.
Like, of course, it's a joke.
They're booked for like the next 5 years. If you guys didn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a publicity stunt. It's not. They didn't really touch the money. It's just it was to get people to talk about Airbnb in the middle of what's going on right now. So,
but doesn't that speak though? So like, I don't think people are upset at Bobby Bonilla. I think it's the Mets have been so awful for so long. Right. And every year we have to be reminded that we're wasting money on this when we could be spending, even though, and like, if you really think about it, it's really not that much. Compared to everything else. But it doesn't matter because we're bad and we need things and we're spending money for Bobby Bonilla to do whatever he's doing. And the fact that the Mets are hosting an Airbnb kind of speaks to how they feel about it. Like, it's a joke now. You know what I mean? It's like a thing. Part of that it's almost over. And then and then the other part is we're good now. And things seem to be, Steve Cohen's here, even though I'm mad at him. And so it's
why are you mad at Steve Cohen?
Let me tell you something. He came in here from day one. Said, "Hey, guess what, guys? Black jerseys. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Talking all this shit." Then he jumps on Twitter the first time.
Mr. Two Cats.
To who? Oh yeah. You know, something light. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to change the game.
He bought on era apparently.
So
like
then he's like he talks shit like when the Mets are losing, he's ghost. Like he don't say nothing when the criticism is valid. But then he'll wait until we beat if we're all real with each other, like when we had our biggest lead in the standings and the Mets were rolling, we didn't really play anybody. So it was hard to like really get excited. But he would jump on Twitter and talk all this shit. And then we drop a game to a team that's actually worth a damn. And then he'd like shit on the fans for criticizing him because Rojas is fucking up the rotation and he's doing all this dumb shit and he's not, like what did he do at the beginning of the season, Mike, that I was yelling at him about? He batted somebody first that had no clue being first.
It was the first couple of games. They were playing around with the order though, I believe, and just to see how things would work.
Yeah,
I
but
do
Dom
agree.
Smith wasn't even playing, bro. Like it was shit like that. It was
Like
like
the first
shit like.
game of the year, they didn't let Dom start, and I was upset about it.
Agreed.
That was
But
BS.
it's like, but he's one of those guys that like he'll pound his chest when things are going right, and then he'll hide when things are going wrong. And it's like I don't like that shit, man. Like all he does is
All right,
talk
so
shit.
let me say something right here.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Go.
I completely agree with what you're saying, right? So my thing is everyone's talking shit about the Wilpons, how they didn't give a fuck about this team, how where are the Wilpons, this and that. We're not used to an owner who's active on Twitter and who's actively on social media paying attention to this team. Like, so I get where the frustration is coming from. Like, he's nowhere to be found when we're losing, but then when we're winning, he'll be like, "Oh, how's that for offense?" Or "Are we winning yet?"
Yeah.
Like, he's
Yes.
very
Yes.
sarcastic. So a lot of people are not used to this. We
You know,
finally have an owner who's heavily invested into this team, and he's actually a fan. So I see where there's multiple sides feeling different ways, but to me, I fucking like it. I don't know about you guys, but I like it. It's
I like
sometimes annoying because I see where it's coming from. So he'll be like, "Oh, is that enough offense for tonight?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, "Are you guys ready to fucking stop bitching?" Type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Shit like
So
that. I don't like that.
I do like
I
it
like it.
because
I like it.
you know a lot of us have that Mets fan PTSD where
Mhm.
everything is crumbling and you feel like, oh no,
Yeah,
and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
those jokes is like it lightens up the mood, and you know he wants to win. You know he wants to win. You
well, he's
know
not used to losing. That's why he clams
not
up
used to
for
it.
losing.
Yeah,
The
sure.
dude's a winner. I mean,
Yeah.
he won at life. He's got bazillion. I mean, he could go to space if he wanted to. Instead, he bought the Mets, right? So I
But
mean,
the problem with the reason why I don't like it, because that's like you make like if you're in grade school and you used to make fun of like the skinny kid, and then the skinny kid like starts beating people up, and now you're hiding. You know what I mean? Like you talk shit. Like when it's like the bully picks on the small people, but won't pick on people who can give it back. It's like that kind of mentality for me. Like don't talk
Right.
shit to us when things are going well, but then like when criticism, justified criticism, because you know some of these things that are happening to the Mets, he deserves to hear, but he'll like just disappear and he'll wait until we beat like a bottom feed team and then be like, look at y'all got something to say now. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
like,
bitch, we do. Like, you know what I
Like,
mean?
oh, you guys were worried.
Yeah, like we haven't played nobody. What are you talking about, bro? Noah
And
Syndergaard
look
is
at you
on
guys.
Asgard somewhere,
You guys were
fucking
worried.
not playing.
yeah, he loves to stir the pot. I think
I
that's
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
So
I like that of him. And then also like he's also older and he's trying to navigate. He had 0 followers before he bought the Mets. I mean, he didn't even know what Twitter was. So and then that whole like financial thing happened, and he had like Barstool coming after him and people talking about GameStop stock.
GameStop.
Yo, they were threatening his family, the whole family, like abort mission. So now they're just trying to test the water a little bit. So I think he'll become more transparent when we are losing. But the beauty of it is we're not freaking losing, right? So he can. I love it. I love it. He's doing exactly what I would be doing if I owned the Mets right now. Which is,
if you had that much and you own the Mets, you'd be wilding out even worse, bro.
oh man,
You be talking, man. What'd you say? You be going after people. So sometimes he gotta, we're not used to having an owner like that, or
Sure.
an owner who's funny, an owner who's personable. We're not used to that. We used to, wishing the worst on the Wilpons, and now you got this guy talk about, oh, are you happy now?
and
he
gave us the black jerseys. The Tom Seaver statue did get delayed. It's coming opening day next year, right?
But it wasn't his.
Yeah. By the way, are you
the artist?
guys going to that game on the 30th?
Yeah.
I will be there.
Oh, you're so July 30th or August? Which one?
July 30th.
July.
No, July. That's the debut of the black jersey.
It's next week, Friday.
Oh, I want to go. I have a 5-year-old, so it's like I got to negotiate.
So bring your 5-year-old.
I'm going to. She hasn't been to a game since the whole COVID crap. But yeah, maybe we'll all meet up and take a nice picture. Germ is a firefighter in Leland, North Carolina. He will be at the 9/11 game with us. So if you guys are,
I'm there too.
I already got my tickets to that. I already got them downloaded already.
He'll be sitting next to a very controversial but recognizable figure in 2021 Mets. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. He's friends with Pete. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys should tomorrow night is fireworks night. First fireworks night of the season.
You gonna be there?
How do you guys feel about the Blue Jays?
I'm worried. That offense is sick. Yeah.
So listen, I said this is either gonna be Matt's revenge game or we're gonna light his ass up.
I think we always light Matt's ass up.
The first time I met Doc Gooden.
So the funny thing is that Walker and Matts are gonna face against each other. So it's like we got Walker that got traded from the Blue Jays, and then we got Matts on the Blue Jays. So that should be interesting.
And Matt's having a decent year. I mean, you can't be mad at a lefty performing the way he has for the Blue Jays. But really what scares me about the Blue Jays is that lineup. I mean, I think they were down like 5-1 the other day, and you like blinked your eye and, they rattled off a bunch of home runs.
Right.
Yeah, they beat the
Boston.
That was they blanked the Rangers twice. Like they had like 10 runs. It was like they blanked them 10-0, and I can't remember the other game, but Vlad Jr. smacking them things.
But also, like, they just left Buffalo. They're going back to Toronto. And they
Good riddance.
DFA'd that guy, like, pretty much sold him for $1, because he didn't want to get vaccinated. And I just think that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but Toronto wouldn't let the whole team back unless they were all vaccinated. So they had one guy left. So they gave him to the Dodgers for cash considerations, which is, it's nuts. And not to not talk Mets, but you saw with the NFL today what they announced with teams going to have to forfeit if they don't get the vaccine. And look, I'm
all for it.
You are? I think Germ is
because listen, if you want to play, you cannot risk other players' health. And at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions of dollars. Just fucking get vaccinated.
There you go. That's the answer. Guess what? You're an employee. Get the vaccination because the company that you make money for and work for is saying you have to be vaccinated. You know what I mean? You don't get to have an opinion here. If you want to play your sport and get paid or void your contract, I don't understand. I'm all for players, and I'm usually, and Mike knows, and if anybody watches stuff about sports, I am typically pro player. However, there's certain things you just can't bend on. Like Toronto, Canada just wouldn't let. That's the reason why all these Toronto teams had to play in Tampa Bay. They would not let these people. They wouldn't let Americans in unvaccinated. And so, if you want to play in Canada, guess what, buddy? You got to be vaccinated. And then the NBA is not going to just host Toronto teams in Tampa forever. So guess what? They have to tell their players, hey, you got to get vaccinated, and then that should be the end of it.
So this is what I'm asking. What happens when when Toronto hosts a team?
That's what I was thinking. Like, I guess
they have to be vaccinated.
What
everyone? Because I know everyone on the Mets aren't vaccinated.
No,
as far as I know, only 70% are vaccinated.
Right.
Yeah. So what happens is if anything, they'll be out of the lineup. And I do believe, and so there's certain protocols. So I think if they show up and then if they're unvaccinated, they got to do like a test the day they arrive, the test before the game, the test after the game. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do a bunch of shit if you're unvaccinated. And if you so with the NFL, right? They're not saying you have to be vaccinated. They want you to be vaccinated. But what they're saying is if you break COVID protocol. So if your contact tracing comes back fucked up, if all this, obviously if you're unvaccinated, that's like the key. But COVID protocol is more than just having the vaccine or not. And if you break any of that stuff, that's why your team will forfeit a game. But we kind of already seen this coming in the country, right? They're not. You can't make people get vaccinated. But what you can do is you can pigeonhole them into it. Hey, you want to go to a concert? You want to go to a baseball game? You got to be vaccinated. You want to fly
For
on an airplane,
example,
you got to
my
go. You got to get
game-
vaccinated.
Yeah, my seats on 9/11, it's
Mm-hmm.
vaccination required. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go have to get vaccinated in the next 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
The only thing I would also say is like I don't blame a majority of Americans if they don't want to get vaccinated, because you look at our history, the Tuskegee, and other things that our country has done to the black community, especially. Like I don't fault them for not wanting to just ingest something or inject something that's 6 months old. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I get both sides, especially with American history and how awful it is, to the black community and other communities too, like any minority community,
You want me
including
to
the
set
gay
up anything?
community. So,
I understand what you're saying. I
right.
understand that, but once I see other communities was taking it, I was like, all right, it's kind of all right. If
Right.
y'all taking it, all right, they ain't trying to get me.
Yo,
Yeah.
what I started looking at was Korean news to see if I should take it. Like, because I was like, if all these other countries, my neighbor's Korean, Jamal's part Korean, so I just started like translating Korean news, and I was like, dude, they want this vaccine. I was like, I'm gonna take it. I picked Pfizer though because I feel like as a male that might need their other products one day, they want to keep me alive. So
Yeah.
that was my theory of picking Pfizer.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Good, Giselle. How you
Hi,
doing?
I'm at the park.
Nah, it's you all good. Yeah,
So-
I simply got the vaccine so I could go to the September 11th game. I don't think if I was going to the Met game, I'd be vaccinated. Not that I don't believe in it. I just, as Mike knows, when in my younger days, I was doing blow off a German hooker's stomach. So I'm not scared of putting things in my body.
You know
It's not
what?
about what.
All right.
I was in the military. They shoot us up
No, I
with
understand.
12 shots from the rip. I don't know what's in my body. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. It wasn't like, I don't even take the flu shot now because, I believe you get that stuff when you're younger. When you're an
I've
adult, you
never-
kind of don't need that stuff.
I've never taken a flu shot, and I've gotten vaccinated. And I was
Yeah.
like, yo, if this is what it is, first of all, I'm going kind of bald, right? So I started growing a beard, and as soon as my beard started growing in, COVID happened, and he told me put a mask on.
Oh,
I was like, listen, if I got to take this mask off and breathe a little, yo, just shoot, whatever that is, just throw that in there.
that mask ruined my beard for a while. Like I had like
Beard mask?
yo, it was
That's
terrible. Yeah, because my other job is I work in retail, and I would just it was 9 to 10 to 12 hours a day wearing this mask, and it was just like taking away. Like I had like I had like a bald spot in my beard. It was awful.
Yo,
So-
Giselle, we all are kind of
Oh wait, guys, I want to show you my tattoo. Hold on.
Yes.
that's what I was leaving.
yeah. I was gonna say, I was
How
like,
do
man,
you
we got
guys
about 10
see
minutes. We
it?
got
Wait,
about
how
10
do I-
minutes left on
how
this
do I
happy
turn
hour. I
this
hope this.
shit?
Let me see.
How do I
Flip,
turn the
flip your
camera?
camera to landscape side, horizontal.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Right? Can you?
So how do I turn it now?
I don't think
Alright,
you'll be able to use
so-
camera. You're gonna have to use.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fire.
Oh, you got it right on the arm too.
Yeah, that's fire.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's
Wait.
fire, Giselle.
So basically, it's like the heartbeat, and then it's the baseball, and then it's
Yeah.
the Mets logo in between.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I literally just got it like an hour ago.
You dedicated. That's dope.
Steve
That's
I
dope,
Walton.
woke
man.
up today. I'm like, I want a fucking tattoo.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that's awesome.
Yeah.
fire.
So, what made you a Met fan?
My brothers. May
Uh,
they rest in peace. We grew up like watching them. That's how we bonded. They've always told me like, you're not gonna look stupid in front of people talking about sports. It was like 05, 06, David Wright, Jose Reyes, that whole era. I just fell in love with the game, literally. And I hate them for it because I'd be pissed, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
love it. It's a lifestyle at this point, and it's something that I literally live for baseball and the Mets, and I love it.
Well-
And I've been introduced to a lot of great people. And it's something that I look forward to. They ruin my day sometimes. They make me happy.
Will make you sad. Giselle, you know your shit too, so that's really dope that you really know your shit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome on this show anytime. We're gonna try to do this Mets happy hour. We like most of the happy hours are like theme based. So like it just depends on what we feel like talking. Some days we just power ranking Disney movies. Some days we're doing dumb stuff like that. But like I would love to do just Mets because you know the network used to have a Mets dedicated show, but there's just so much moving parts now. But I would love at least very least once a month to get together whenever anybody has time, and we just cut the shit about the Mets, you know, whenever we feel like it. Steve Waldman says my father and my mother got him into the Mets. Yeah, same here. So like me, and I'll admit it, like my grandfather, my grandfather was a Mets fan, so he loved Darryl Strawberry. He loved all the Mets, old timer Mets that I don't know. And Darryl, he was sad when he went to the Yankees and all that. Like so I knew of the Mets, and I just wasn't into baseball like that. Like I would watch it, and I would, you know, I just didn't know. I didn't go deeper into just simply watching it. Like I didn't bother following people. But then when I got, you know, when I met Mike and got involved with the network and got everything, I really I told Mike, I said, yo, I'm really gonna watch the Mets. I'm gonna watch baseball for real. And I got into it like hardcore. Like I'm texting him stuff that he don't know, and he's the Mets. You know what I mean? So I enjoy being part of Mets fandom.
All right,
for real.
so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How was you guys' emotion that game against what was it, the second or the first game against series against the Reds, when we were like just back to back, like they were up 10, we came up 10, or we were down 9.
That was the 15-11 game, right?
Oh my god,
crazy.
I literally felt like I was losing my mind. Like I was like, yo, I just want to go to sleep. I've never like I'm like, yo.
So I was
that
live.
shit was insane.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional roller coaster. One, because we just got done interviewing Doc, and I was watching the game while interviewing him, which is sacrilegious. I get it. But it was the only day my co-host could get on with us, and it was like very stressful. Doc had this open calendar, but Corey didn't. And so we're watching that game, and my brain is hurting because I was in Pittsburgh with the 7 line that weekend, and we lost that game. We were up 6-0 in like the 7th inning, and we end up losing it. A walk
Saturday,
and it was so terrible, and it was, I swear, everybody wants to say Diaz did a Hansel Robles, like pointing to the sky, but that ball, he did, but everybody else in the stadium did too, including Pirates fans. Everybody thought it was just a pop-up, like, and the game was over, and it just kept sailing and sailing and sailing, and it was just, it was like a magic trick watching that ball leave the field. So, So
let me ask you guys just to remind me, because even though I watched the game, I just want you guys to answer for me. Who was starting pitching that game?
What, for me?
During the 15-11 game.
That was 2 different games though. They talking about 15-11 game was.
It doesn't matter because it wasn't anybody.
No, like seriously, why do we not know this right now?
It was. We just talked about him earlier, and I hate him, and I never wanted to see him.
Oh, Icon.
Yeah, it was Icon.
Sick of him. So glad he's off this team, bro. When I watched that game and I saw, it wasn't just him though. It was just bad defense, bro. Like that one shot.
Guillorme was horrible. He had like 4 errors. And you know what pissed me off? All right, so this is where. All right, so Lowe's, how I feel about Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, "Oh, do you miss Lindor now? Do you miss?" No, this has nothing to do with Lindor. This is his bad defense. Lindor has had like 2 errors in a game. Yes, he's a huge asset that we're missing right now, but we got to work with what we got. So the fact it was like the point where people were foreshadowing Guillaume's poor errors and shit like that, and they were so focused on people being mad at Lindor haters. I'm not like I told people before. I don't hate on Lindor. I want him to do good.
Right.
Should he be performing better than what they paid him? Absolutely.
You just highlight his bad parts, though. You
Right.
But that's what happens when you make $342 million contracts. You know what I mean?
know, but people feel like they gave him that money in one shot, and they're like, you have to earn that 341 we just gave you. That's a 10-year span. That's a 10-year span. Imagine being at your job, right? And in the first 45 minutes, like you're not, and they're like, yo, you don't deserve the $34 we gave you. Like, just
let me tell you something. I stepped down in Leland, North Carolina, first day as a firefighter. We had a structure fire. Who was first in the door? I said, yo, don't worry about this house. Give me the hose. Turn on the water.
That's Churn. That's Churn. I got my own little thing here, but I'll save it for.
Why you look like you're in the SNY studio? Where's Gary Apple?
Kind of.
Gary Apple with the Mets post game show.
No, where's shots fired, man? Like that's not. If you need.
Killed you, bro.
A-Rod did that to me too after we interviewed A-Rod on a happy hour. So it took us 2 happy hours to get A-Rod. So hopefully by our second one of these, we have some Met greats rolling in here. Some have messaged me, including Cliff Floyd. Can't make it tonight because he's actually working. He's like, some of us might. But he just wrote back.
On the job.
Yeah, he's on the job. He's like, I appreciate you, brother. He's like, I'd be there. I'm working.
He's in another studio right now.
I'm gonna ask for Gary Apple because that's probably an easier get than I don't know Cliff
I
Floyd.
love Gary Apple.
Yeah, I was trying to
All right,
impress.
so does anybody else? I don't mean to cut anybody off.
You're good.
So remember that obviously the series against the Pirates. Remember Gary Thorne? Do you guys feel? I feel like about his bad luck. I'm sorry.
What did you say?
We lost.
Gary Thorne is bad luck.
Gary Thorne.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying he's bad luck, but like
We played like we did when he was our announcer.
right.
Yes, I agree. I cringed
Like,
a
and
little
I feel
bit.
like I'm the only one who realized that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought of it and I tweeted it a couple of times and then I retracted it and deleted it like normal people do when they tweet things. But
He's
yeah,
a great announcer. I'm not taking nothing away from him.
awesome announcer. But yeah, I would like to say we're way under 500 with him as our announcer. And it kind of like, yeah, if you look at Pittsburgh when he was there, it was cool, it was nostalgia, but we lost. So
Gary Thorne always looked like the guy who owned like one of those model train stores and would yell at the kids for trying to play with them. Like, hey, that's not a toy. You know what I mean? He looks like the guy that would run that type of shop, right?
Oh man, somebody gotta do an animation of that.
That's hilarious.
Like,
All right, hey Mike, before we get out of here, did you want to run through over, under, and properly rated?
I do. So we do this
All right.
thing. Germ started this on every happy hour we're doing. We're gonna say some Met fans, Met players, and maybe some Met items, and we're gonna say over, under, or properly rated.
You have to guess if we think he's over and see if you agree with us if he's over, under, or properly rated.
And when he
Okay.
says
Got
us, it's Germ. So
Yeah,
All right.
but me.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Mike. You run it off, and I'll hit the sound.
all right. I did want to say one thing. So you asked where we were. We're at the Give Us a Shot studio. It's the reason why we created the Give Us a Shot studio was because of Terry Collins.
You gotta give it a shot. The MLB
That's amazing. I love that.
guy.
And then my first ever, yes. So
You gotta give us a shot.
yeah, you
No,
got to
he
give
was
us
right.
a shot.
He was like the MLB did nothing to that guy. They didn't do shit to fucking Chase Utley.
Yeah. So then my
Right.
first professional athlete that I ever interviewed also, we already had the shirts. We gave Otis Anderson a shirt. He signed 2 giant stadium seats for me and gave them to me. And then he also asked me,
Give them a shot to do what?
Give them a shot to do what? He's like, I gotta give you a shot
Give them a
To do
shot.
what?
What?
to do what? Any person that we've ever interviewed, I'm proud to say, including Darren, I've a signed baseball card from him.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a cool thing, and we do it all. We do it once a week at least, and whenever Germ's in town. But we will start our over under properly rated right now, and we'll start with Matt Harvey.
Oh.
So we're guessing there's
His career
Was
as
it-
a Met, was it overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
I say
Oh.
proper.
It was definitely properly rated. He was a huge asset in our road to the World Series.
I'd go underrated for one reason.
Wow.
Well, we had no hope back then. Like, he literally was the Dark Knight. Like, I remember tickets were like $5 the other 4 days, and then like $60 the day Harvey played. I remember a Met Yankee Subway Series in City Field where he just annihilated the Yankees. Like, and I'm looking at my friend like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, and my friend being Corey. But you know, so I would say underrated only because we didn't know what we had and how special it was. And now I feel like we're a little spoiled when it comes to pitching with Thor and DeGrom. Like, those are once in a lifetime type pitchers.
Yeah.
And now we've had 3 of them in our lifetime. You know. Oh,
What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, brother?
We
All
have
right,
a
so we're
late
playing
guest.
over under properly rated, and we went with Matt Harvey first. Giselle's about to answer us. You think if Matt Harvey is over under properly rated, and we're going to run through some Mets fans, and then I'm going to give you all the real answer.
Well, I agree with Lowe's. I think he was properly rated. Like I said,
Gotcha.
he was a huge asset to the 2015 World Series Mets. My favorite moment of him was when what was it game 3, game 5, when he wanted to keep pitching,
yeah.
and we took, he was like, I got this.
Trying to
And
we
ruin his
lost-
career.
Oh, now here we go.
That
Thank you
was
for
my
leading me
favorite.
off to that. That was a great moment,
So-
except the one most important, pivotal part of that game. Fucking lost it.
Yes.
I know. The only game we won, game 3, which was my
And
favorite
that's- and
Conforto.
Giselle-
Conforto
And that's
moment.
why you should say
Run.
over.
For that reason, Matt Harvey is
Overrated.
he is cost
Where's
that
the
cost us
gunshots?
the
Where's the
World
gunshots?
Series.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Fake.
Yeah.
You lobbied Terry Collins to throw you in the game, you bum.
Yeah.
Cost us game 1 and then game 4, whatever the game it was, game 5, and fucking cost us the World Series. And you're out there talking about you're the Dark Knight. I got a name for you, Matt Harvey. Fake ace.
Oh, man.
Is that why we lit him up?
That's
Oh,
why we
The last game? Remember?
Yeah,
Against
Yeah, we tore him
Baltimore? Yo, holy shit.
that's crazy.
He was getting his tits lit.
I don't even want to go with the next guy. All right.
It's not even, but it really wasn't. It's that because you can't cost like. It's not like football. Well, I guess football if you're a kicker, but it's very rare that the one player.
Guys,
Can
I'm
cost
sorry
you
to
the game.
interrupt. I'm like at the park with my girlfriend.
Okay. Hello.
So, I've been on this for like 30 minutes, but I will be
You're
on the
good.
next show, okay?
All
Okay.
right. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
All right, well, you guys have my Instagram, right?
Yes.
right.
Share it with the audience real quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to spell. It's right there in my username.
All right. All right.
All right, bye, guys.
We'll share it.
I'll
Bye.
join next time, and I'll have better lighting and everything.
All
You're
right.
good.
We'll hold
All
you
right.
to
Bye,
that.
guys.
You better
Let's
look
go
like Gary.
Mets.
Let's go, Mets.
All right, bye.
Let's say it. All right. So
I'll. I think this was her username for those who want to follow her. If I saw it real quick. Anthony, tell us where you're from, real quick, bro.
I'm from New Jersey, man, but I'm a
My man.
long-time Mets fan. Ever since I was a little kid, going to see those neon lights at Shea Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do a podcast, Subway to Shea.
yes, a very good podcast.
Yeah.
We've been
Plug that, man. Plug that bitch, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I came late because I was just recording one with I had my guest this week was I don't know, Jake Brown. If you know Jake Brown, he does the Amazing
Brown
But
Radio,
True.
Yeah.
He does Amazing But True podcast. So he hopped on with me for this week's episode, and we talked about all that stuff going on in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, that wild week we had. Talk about resiliency and the trade deadline. So it's a big week coming up.
Yes.
Right.
So real quick, we talked about the trade deadline and all that, but I mean, we might as well give you, since you're here.
Sure.
What are your expectations for the trade deadline for the Mets?
Pitching, more pitching. I think no focus on hitting right now. If something comes through with like a Chris Bryant or something, but it would have to be, we can't give up the whole farm for him, especially when he's only going to be here for a couple months.
Yeah.
But for pitching, we need another starter. I'd actually would like a lefty out of the pen to help out Aaron Loop, because he can't be the only one taking that load by himself.
He's looked good, but he's going to need some help down the stretch.
Yeah. I hear that people talking about Tyler Anderson from Pittsburgh. I'd take a look at him if that was a possibility, or even Wade Miley, who we pitched against the other night. That would be a nice little addition too.
So you brought up Pittsburgh, so I want to talk about something that I talked to Doc Gooden about last week, or Monday actually, and how it's ridiculous how like pitchers are held to this standard where they can't even celebrate when they strike somebody out or get a big out, right? Batters, and this is actually Stroman saying this, do the Macarena after they get a base hit, but they're not allowed to show any emotion on the mound. It's very old school. Batting gloves when we were kids were pretty much pieces of paper compared to what they are now, with the grip and everything they're allowed to use and substance they're allowed to do to hold on to the bat. But yet the pitcher cannot use any grip at all. And Spider Tech, which has become a staple in our studio, is frowned upon. And I get this being frowned upon, but they got to give. The technology has to go somewhere, and also pitchers should be allowed to celebrate. I mean, so what is your take on that? I'll start with Anthony, since he's the newbie, and then we'll go to Vintage after him.
Well, I think that obviously baseball to the masses is a hitter sport. That's where you get everyone focusing on. All the fans want to see home runs, and they want to see this guy hitting 300. Only not a handful, but only a certain fan is really into the pitching and wanting to see one-run games or, a shutout. And you rarely get to see perfect games and no-hitters, except for this season with the use of some of that Spider Tech. You're getting to see a lot more pitchers being able to throw, no-hitters and stuff like that. But I think baseball, the way they market it, is a hitter's league. Look at the All-Star game. It really was kind of boring. But you watch the home run derby, and that's kind of really where everyone's focus is. All the fun has happened there. So I think that a lot of more focus has been on the hitters. So they're going to do whatever they can to help the hitters out and take away all this stuff from the. Weren't they going to even push back the mound even a little more too? I mean, they're taking like everything away from the pitching. Right.
Yeah.
But they've had an advantage for so long. Like, I mean, to complain about it now is kind of like, I mean, and a lot of that is business, right? Like you were just saying, it has to be a hitter's league, right? Baseball, if for the kids who don't remember, back in I guess the early 2000s, when baseball was going through their TV negotiations, and they were about to lose their TV deals until Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa started taking steroids. Saved baseball because they were hitting home runs, and people want to see that stuff. And so, for a long time, I mean, I would safely say probably all of us look around the same age. All of our lives, baseball has been a pitcher dominant sport. And every once in a while you get these guys who, and unfortunately they get caught taking steroids, but every once in a while you get these guys who, like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, and that's what makes it exciting. But if you're going to cater the game to all hitters, now you got some of these lesser known guys that can hit the ball and make the game more exciting, which is what baseball really needs, is to be just more exciting, because their average viewership is like still in the 50s, which is nuts.
I agree with both of you, but I also feel like the hitters having like something to grip the bat with is way different than a pitcher who's throwing a 90+ mile an hour ball at you. Having an advantage of him throwing that ball being a bit harder, or having more like spin on it, and not knowing, some of these guys who's been hit by pitches have been guys who was using Spider Tech, like the dude with Pilar. I heard he was using it.
Right.
People,
don't get me wrong. I think Spider Tech is not the answer. This stuff is disgusting, and like it's like I ate waffles here for 36 days straight and just left the syrup everywhere. But it's nuts, man. Like I know you guys have probably seen this before, but it's beyond what it should be. But I do think, an upgraded version of rosin or something is in the cards for the pitchers, because the batters have, and this is Doc's word, they have like all these new bats. There was 3 bats when he was a pitcher back in the day. It was Rollins, Big League Bats, and some other company that I can't remember right now. But now, like, you saw what Pete brought to the Home Run Derby, and you see all these other small bat companies, and there's Maplewood. There's all these different woods they now can use, and none of that was around, even 10 to 15 years ago. So the batters have gotten all these advancements, and the pitchers are like, no, you can't use sunscreen. Like they're literally stripping pitchers down. But also, like, forget about that part of it. Let them celebrate that.
I agree with that. You got to be able to celebrate in a sport that you want to be exciting.
Yeah.
If you want people to watch, you got to show some kind of realism and some excitement from the players. They're real people, just like people that are watching. They want to have some kind of, way of connecting to the players, and excitement and celebration is one of those.
Agreed.
Well, we tried to have that, right? We tried to have that with Bryce Harper years ago, and the old timey baseball stick up their ass, baseball writers didn't allow that to happen. We talked about this with Mike a couple shows ago. I think we did like a Divide Stuff About Sports joint. I'd be bat flipping off of a single. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
That's
like
me. I'm in my room.
Do it.
In the first inning, you're like, all right, chill out, dude.
Well, forget about Bryce Harper. Jose Reyes, how much did he celebrate? And we got, every team got pissed off because of it.
Yeah, including the Marlins, which kind of cost us a playoff berth, right? Like, it's just look, it's something that I think baseball is a little late to the party, and ironically, like we're normally ahead of the curve when it comes to like culture changes. But this time we're like stuck in our old man ways, and I think to celebrate is something that you need to start doing and showing emotion. But the one thing I'm glad we didn't show was Trevor Bauer, the amount of money that the Dodgers gave him, and that show. He really showed his true colors. I don't care what anybody says. Him selling Mets merchandise 2 hours before he decides not to be a Met was it was just a clown, kind of thing. So for many reasons, I'm glad we dodged that bullet. But even though we need pitching, like it's nobody's business. I'm glad it's not him. So
hey, Mike, let's run through the rest of the over under properly rated stuff.
I want to go with a guy. It should be easy for everybody. Todd Hundley, one of my favorite guys. I was so happy. He still has most home runs in a season by a catcher. I think he's tied now with another guy, but he was the first one there. I want to know if you think he's over, under, or properly rated.
I am going to say Todd Hundley is properly rated, man. I don't think he's underrated or overly rated. I think he's rated as where he's at, and I'll stick with that.
Since I came in a little late, what are we basing the rating on?
On the way he's treated in the Mets community.
Okay.
Community.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think he's properly rated.
See, this is where I feel like Piazza definitely came in and we forgot about this guy carrying us through the 90s, right? Because especially after Hojo and a bunch of these other guys left, like Hundley was the only person he was our Derek Jeter. The reason why the youth was coming to games, the reason why any person cared about our team was Todd Hundley, especially unfortunately when Doc had to leave us. So I feel like they shafted him. Yeah, he had a bunch of injuries and stuff like that. He was willing to play the outfield while Piazza took his position. So in those cases, I think he's underrated. Also, I wish we they put him in the dugout for one game last year or something. I would definitely say that this guy gave more to the Mets than to the Met fan base than the Met fan base gives to him. And maybe it's his own personality, like how we haven't seen Wright since he retired. But I would put him into the class of underrated only because when he hit those 31 home runs, I have a holograph of it in a magazine. And like it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I would just sit there and watch him hit that 31st home run over and over again. So before we had a playoff run, before we had anything in the 90s, we had Todd Hundley. So I don't know, it's a soft spot for me.
With that take, I can hear. I like your debate on that, man.
Me too, Mike. After 5 long, boring minutes, and all I have to give to you is
Properly rated.
let me tell you why he's properly rated.
Mm.
When you think of Mets catchers in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Carter, Piazza, and Hundley. You can't, and he gave elite, like him and Piazza, like you just said it. That's why he's properly rated. He carried the Mets. You can't be underrated carrying a team offensively. And so for that reason, now he's great. And I agree with what you're saying in terms of like speaking to his greatness, but that's exactly why he's properly rated, bro. Can't be underrated if you're giving elite production at a position like catcher, and people are putting you in that Piazza conversation during that time. There's no way.
All right, next guy, Noah Syndergaard. Now I'm gonna go like old then new and then old and new. I want to talk about Thor.
Shit, Carlos, come on, man. You know the answer. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna go first. Go first, guys.
Overrated.
Yeah, just
overrated.
I love Thor, but he's definitely we hold a lot of people hold him into this. He was supposed to be better than DeGrom at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Held him up to like we thought he was gonna be super great. And we haven't seen too much out of him, man. He's been hurt a lot. I like Syndergaard a lot, but it's just like, damn, fam, like, when are you coming back? Like, after a while, it's like, what have you done for me lately kind of attitude. Mm-hmm. I see a lot more on Instagram than I see him on the mound. So, and I love Noah. I want to see you back, Noah. But kind of overrated in the fan base. Right?
What about you, Anthony?
It's tough. I don't know. I think, man, this one's a hard one. Let's say properly rated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it with properly rated. I mean, he's been out for a while, but Tommy John ain't no joke, and now we're just waiting for him to come back. But anytime he was on the mound, he was really, really good. I thought he was really. 2015, he was great. 2016, he had to carry the rotation because DeGrom was out, Harvey was out, Matz wasn't that really good. He had to do everything, and he almost, what did he pitch, 6 perfect innings in the wild card game?
Right. And
he's a big game pitcher, and that's what I want on my team. There's a lot of people who can't hack it in New York. He's not one of them that can't.
Were either of you at that wild card game?
No.
Right. I was, and when Curtis Granderson caught that ball, I just kept thinking Andy Chavez. and I knew we were effed as soon
Yeah,
as
you were right on that then.
yo, man, it was the same wave of emotions. And I was like, uh-oh. And I was like,
and Dad.
yeah. And then when Familia gave up that home run to a no-name that hit 2 home runs in the major leagues,
You still hate Familia for that.
I know. And the problem was, too, there was a lot of Jet fans at that game, and they started chanting JETS. And then, like, I had to take the train home, and I was Jersey to Princeton, and like they followed me all the way home, and I was just like, "You're not even a Met fan. Like, stop! Like, I don't want to hear about Sanchez or whatever freaking shitty quarterback you have right now." Like, I was like I started to hate the Jets by the end of that, and I know that's a little sacrilege because we come from the same stadium, it was a weird vibe right after that catch from Curtis. And Curtis literally laid it all out there. And when he doesn't make that catch, there's no game to talk about. There's no 9th inning blowout by Familia. It's probably not even in the game. So, speaking of closers, John Franco, over, under.
Love John Franco. So I'm gonna say he's underrated. I love John Franco, man.
It's hard because now you got to start. When you talk about closers, everyone gets compared to Mariano Rivera, right? And no one's ever that close. Man, I think John Franco's a little overrated.
Whoa, okay.
A little overrated. I like John Franco, but I think he's a little overrated.
You know, when he slayed Goliath, aka Barry Bonds, in a playoff game, throwing a circle change, he became, for me, knowing that he's only 5'11", he became underrated right there. I do think we didn't realize what we had. Everybody emphasizes, especially as Met fans, our closers, we remember the ones we blow, right? Our closers blow. We never remember all the saves they had, and him being a lefty. Also, my partner at the time, when we interviewed him, wanted to ask him about how he felt after his dad died and crap like that. And so I owe him a solid, and I want to say he was underrated because of the simple fact that I do think that he was a really good closer and deserved every accolade he got as a Met. Yeah, like you said, everybody gets compared to Mariano because he did it forever. And that's really comparing everybody to.
Yeah, like you said, I think for me, I keep going back to a lot of the games that he didn't save.
Right.
And that if John Franco was as good as he was, then Armando Benitez would not have become the full-time closer for that team.
Agreed.
Because John did it forever.
He did.
That team since what was it, 89, 90? He did it for the team.
Yep.
And once he became captain. He should have had that role on lock, and they eventually gave it to Benitez, who that's another story.
Yeah. Also, I think baseball was changing. Everybody was intrigued by anybody who could hit 100 on the gun. Like they're like, oh, you'll strike everybody out, and then the hitters just caught up to the pitchers, and that didn't become the case anymore. But again, like for his physique and what he was capable of doing it's kind of like Marcus Stroman. I admire him, like, because he's, again, 5'11", I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're men doing godlike things. I mean,
I'll say that he's underrated in longevity.
Yes.
Because not that many players in baseball lasted as long as John Franco did.
Agreed.
And he was pretty, he was definitely borderline good through most of his career.
I heard all your deliberations. Oh, go ahead, Carlos. My bad.
No. I want to hear what was your decision. Go ahead.
Oh, heard all of your stuff. It was all good. But when I know you more for Johnny B. Good than for your 276 out of 424 saves, that puts you in the elite category of
Overrated.
Talk about 14 years of just mediocrity. You guys, this is the problem. And we talked about this earlier in this show, Carlos. When you're used, this is how you end up with Bobby Bonilla. When you're so used to mediocrity, the Atlanta Falcons are learning this the hard way with Matt Ryan. When you're so used to 10 plus years of mediocrity, you'll take anything of any semblance of good, and you'll just overrate it because that's all you got. And that is John Franco in a nutshell. So that's why he's
overrated.
But he's a nice guy. So John Franco as a person,
underrated.
John Franco as a Met,
overrated.
All right. So we're gonna end on this last one. It's not a player to thing. It's been in talks ever since Steve Cohen. A few of us have this color on tonight, but the black jersey, is it overrated, properly rated, or underrated?
This one right here,
yeah,
underrated. The New York one, underrated.
The New York black jerseys are they're underrated, man. A lot of people hate on them. A lot of people don't get them. A lot of people say that they're not traditional, but you can't go against what those black jerseys represented for a lot of people. A lot of people grew up on those black jerseys and became Mets fans with Piazza, Reyes, right? Pedro, you know what I'm saying? They became Mets fans with these black jerseys, and these black jerseys are synonymous with a winning time and a good time for Mets fans. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say they're underrated, man. I still feel like people still not giving them their just doing next week, July 30th. We're going to, they're going to debut them, and I think that it's going to be a sea of black at Citi Field. A lot of people. I'm going to be there with a black jersey.
I'll be there.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated for the fact that I cannot wait to see him again. It brings you back to our era, that 2000 era of just Cliff Floyd, even John Franco, you name it, Mike Piazza, David Wright debuting in the black jersey.
Captain America.
I love it. Speaking of what Germ has two hats on, but the black with the blue bill, like all of it. I hope it all comes back. I'm so excited for it, and it just reminds me of fun baseball. And I can't.
That's definitely how I grew up on it. That's how I became a Met fan. And they had 3 home jerseys, and the stripe ones they barely wore because they had the snow white ones that they also wore at that time.
Right.
But like you said, Piazza, Ordonez, Alfonso, that whole group, Ventura, the playoffs, everything from 2000 to 2006, even in the playoffs, they wore those jerseys, and that's how I grew up wearing those black jerseys.
Yeah, same here. It definitely just brings you back to a time. So now Germ's going to tell us why we're wrong.
You know what, guys? Heard your deliberations. And I'm going to have to agree with you. Now, here's a caveat.
Underrated.
They are underrated. However, because I hate Steve Cohen right now, I will say he made us wait all of this time for these black jerseys. And you look around at all the other teams that have these City Connect jerseys. And this was his opportunity to do something different with it. I don't mind the black throwbacks, but if you're going to make us wait all this time to just go in the closet and just give us something we've already had, you could have at least changed it a little bit. You could have at least, I would have loved a straight blackout, murdered out uniform. Give us the black hat with the black pants. Change the script a little bit. This was his time. It's a new era for Mets baseball. I think I would have appreciated a different black Mets jersey if that makes sense. I like the nostalgia of it, but for the personality that Steve Cohen was and the fact that he waited till half the season to just give us a simple throwback, I felt a little disappointed considering how much he talked shit about it, that I just wanted something. I wanted a black jersey. I just wanted a different black jersey. Not that I'm complaining about it. It's just I wish we would have got something different.
So 2 people I interviewed were in his first ever press conference. So I watched the whole freaking thing from start to finish. And he said that he was going to leave it up to the players to decide the design. So and Laura Albanese, shout out to her from Newsday. She was the one that asked him about it. Like, what if the black jerseys do return? Will they be anything different? And he said he would leave that up to the players. So if that's his original thought. I don't know if he actually did that, but if he did, kudos to him and kudos to Pete Alonso, Stroman. Because Stroman said the minute it became available, the pitcher gets to decide the uniform. Never knew that here.
Doc told me that. Doc said that I asked him what's his favorite jersey, and he said the button down. Because it gave him more room to pitch in, and he would always pick that one. But yeah, the pitchers do pick. Sorry,
the pitcher picks. No, you're right. No, it's a happy hour, man. Cut me off. I love it.
I think that Steve would have been in a tough spot if he would have put something new at this time. I think people really wanted the 2000, 2006. I think they wanted that. I think if he would have came out and said, we're going to do a black jersey, but we're going to revise it and freshen it up, and he would have told people that from the beginning, I think that would have been different. But if he would have just did that promo and you would have seen a different black jersey, I think the fans would have ate that up and destroyed him on it.
And also, there's still time, and not this year, but next year, it could be an improvised jersey.
Yeah.
A lot of not a lot of teams had that city jersey. Maybe what was it, 6 of them?
I think only like 8 teams got it this year, and then I think
and other teams are coming. And I would have been upset, Jeremy, if we would have had that black pants. This ain't UCF. With black pants, black jerseys. That would be kind of.
When I seen the Southside Chicago jerseys, boy,
those are the best ones. Those are the best ones.
Except for
by far. So when I saw them, I said, "Yo, that is the Mets swag." Like, you just take away that little Gothic script. If you would have put New York in like a Brooklyn style blue and orange on an all black jersey, like, it doesn't have to be. Like, I don't even like when the Mets wore pinstripes, because I felt like that was a Yankee thing. Like, it needs to be our thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think they could have, you could have done something mad different with that. And an all black jersey for the I'm almost messing up. An all black jersey for the Mets would have been fire. And then, but like, I keep watching the team, like the Red Sox went blue and yellow to throw back to whatever they were throwing back to. I mean, the San Francisco Giants with their white and orange jerseys are fire. All white with that faded orange. That joint is fire. It's just, take the risk, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could easily have come out with a different, newer style black jersey and then sold the old black jerseys in the shop. You could have easily done that.
I think that being it's his first year as owner, you don't want to just come and be like, shake up the room that much. It's like, all right, guys, let's ease into this. Players, y'all gonna choose. And it's still time. Next year it might be something different. On being the first year, you don't want to come in and just like make people be like, "What the hell are you doing, bro? What you messing up tradition?" Like, you don't want that. Let him ease into it in a little bit.
Well, just look at all the times that the Wilpons messed up things. Let's look at the opening of Citi Field, where they had that Domino's looking patch, and the Yankees had some awesome, like looking patch, and all the stuff that they've messed up, where fans just wanted to stay traditional. To Mets. So I kind of look at it that way. But there's going to be plenty of time to get different kind of jerseys. I mean, the Diamondbacks, how many jerseys have they cycled through in their existence?
Yeah, but they just never got their branding right. The Mets don't have to worry about that because their branding is iconic. They can afford to play around. They have a signature style. The Diamondbacks do not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's just the curse of the expansion
because
team.
We're in New York, it's a little different.
Right.
The fans take it a little seriously in New York, where in other towns it's not.
I disagree. Being that we do have a signature style, it's harder to go way and try something a little more different. Arizona, they could try that. They don't. Who's watching Arizona games? They could try anything they want. They could have a snake head coming out the
nobody cares.
The Mets, New York, we don't play. Like, there's nothing. You don't want to mess with nothing that a New Yorker loves. You know what I mean? And those jerseys, a big thing. A reason that they're coming back is because people, really wanted them.
Yeah. So
And there are a lot of people who didn't want them either.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. I
split.
saw that too.
So,
Yeah, I know.
it is split. Where I like it is because of the story of my grandparents. So like I'm from Brooklyn. My grandfather, a New York Giants fan, grandma Brooklyn Dodgers. This brings it home for me. The black and orange New York Giants, the blue Dodger blue. It just the blue and white Dodger blue. You know what I mean? So it's that final color that kind of just suits it all together for me. Because like they told me like you're gonna be a Met fan. So I didn't really have an option because of it was like I was the kid of their baseball, you know.
they did make a change, one little tiny change, but the patch is the regular Mets patch, so it's kind of going to stand out a little more.
Oh,
I did see that. I said, yo, the patch looks different now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Also, the Mets script in the patch is black instead of what it was before, right? It's like maybe I looked at that wrong. I looked at it quick on my phone when I was
patch
driving.
that you have, that one that you're pointing to now, is the original patch on the black jerseys, and they're going with their blue, blue background, blue skyline, regular patch. So it's kind of going to stand out a little more.
wow.
And then I think the Nike sign's gonna be orange.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean,
Let me try to look it up real quick and see if I can put it on the screen so everybody
Guys,
can
we'll
see
be
it.
getting off this, man. I appreciate
no,
y'all.
yeah, we're supposed to be
let's
an
Yeah,
hour
we're about to wrap it up.
30. There's over 60 people still watching, which is insane.
Cool.
Hundreds of people have tuned in. So again, vintage. Find them on Instagram, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Vintage Mets, or you could just type in vintage Mets God. Every Monday, like when we're playing, I do like a half an hour pregame talk thing. Vintage _Mets.
Underscore. My bad, bro. I got you.
brother.
I got you.
Yeah, that's my bad for putting it on there. But shout out to you guys. You guys are, you guys are putting on for the Mets community. I love the love. Throw those hearts up. If there was a heart button, I'll just rock this heart button for you guys. Definitely should, like you guys said, do it every month. Have people come on and interact with everybody. And if you ever see me at a game, or you should ever know that I'm going to the game, come through. Let's have a sausage and peppers together. Let's have a drink together. Let's walk the Shea Bridge together, man. Let's go Mets, man.
Thank you.
I'm gonna see you 9/11, bro. I'm gonna see you 9/11.
Sure, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, man.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
And Anthony, before we get up out of here, where can we find you?
Twitter and Instagram at Subway to Shea.
Yeah. That's
Subway.
Yep.
Number 2 or
No, T.O.
yeah, good. I didn't want to mess it up, man. I didn't want to send
all
people.
good. There
I know you
go,
joined
yeah.
a little late. It's turned into a happy hour and a half, which is I'm more than happy to, because I like talking Mets. And we had Giselle on earlier. We're gonna do this at least bare minimum once a month, but we're gonna try to do it more. I like doing it. We used to have a Mets dedicated show here on the network. It's just everybody's spread thin, but I would love to sit there and talk. At the end of the day, we were birthed by the Mets, and I would like to keep that spirit alive. So anytime we all can get together and just talk Mets baseball and promote each other, I think that's a good thing.
Heck yeah, man. I'm always down.
I enjoyed listening to your pod weekly. Keep doing what
Thank
you're
you.
doing. I love when we cross paths on social medias.
Yeah.
And just keep it up, man.
And I think it was originally through Facebook, right?
It was. Yeah. We were in the same group. We had mutual friends. I can't Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard Blue and Orange, I think.
Yeah. So listen, man, great job. Keep doing what you're doing. And
Thanks, man.
just keep it up, man. I'll be watching and listening.
Just wanted to shout out. I just wanted not only Giselle and Carlos from Vintage Mets and Anthony Rivera, Subway to Shea. Shout out to Steve Waldman. Shout out to Myra. Shout out to Frank to Zero. He said he was a Mets fan for 50 years. Shout out to you, man.
Man.
I mean, you seen some shit, bro. Like, that's crazy. Shout out to Miriam and Marcel and everybody else who commented and liked and shared our stuff tonight. This is great. We're going to keep doing it. This has been Happy Hour Mets edition, sponsored by the Give Us a Shot Network. Anthony, thank you for joining us, bro.
Thank you, brother. Let's go Mets.
Thank you.
Let's go Mets.